budget that is to be tabled on the 23rd of July, and that is next Tuesday. Now, ahead of the annual budget, the Ministry of Defence has actually announced the 5th positive indigenization list for defence public sector undertakings. The comprehensive list encompasses 346 strategically important items, and these indigenized items will now exclusively be sourced from Indian industries, in line with the specified timelines for indigenization. Meanwhile, electronic goods exports have increased by 16.91% in the month of June, year-on-year numbers, and bolstered by production-linked incentive or the PLI scheme. Exports have increased from $2.42 billion in June 2023 to $2.82 billion last month, according to data shared by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Meanwhile, the aviation regulator DGCA's monthly data has revealed that India's domestic air passenger traffic grew 5.76% to 1.32 crore in June from 1.24 crore in the same period last year. Between June 2022 and June 2024, jobs in the manufacturing sector in Bharat have actually grown by 40%. A global hiring and matching platform has reported job roles like computer numerical control operators, production supervisors and machine operators are seeing an increasing demand. And the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, has actually raised its projection of growth in Bharat's gross domestic product, GDP, for 2024-25 by 20 basis points to 7% amid a boost in private consumption, especially in the rural areas. And Hajipur, Bihar's second fastest developing city after Patna in the recent years, is actually making international headlines for its footwear manufacturing abilities. Even Russian soldiers are marching on using made in Bihar boots that have been manufactured in Hajipur. Quite an incredible story there. Now, shifting focus, ladies and gentlemen, to the lead story and the first debate on this Wednesday edition or midweek edition of The Right Stand. Changing demography is a big issue for me, and this is what Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has said earlier in the day. He stated that the Muslim population actually rose to 40% compared to 12% in 1951. It's almost a 28% rise in 7 decades. And it's not a political statement for him, he claimed, but a matter of life and death. Listen in.
देखिए, बदलते डेमोग्राफी मेरे लिए, मैं असम से आया हूं, ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। इसलिए मैं असम में, बंगाल में हर दिन मेरा असम में मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन 40% हो चुका है। 1951 में 12% था। आज असम में मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन 40%। हम जिला की जिला खो चुका हूं। तो मेरे लिए ये मुद्दा पॉलिटिकल नहीं है, मेरे लिए ये जीना और मरने का मुद्दा है। इसलिए मैंने उसका साथ ही हर दिन संघर्ष करता हूं।
Let's have a look at the numbers. As per the 2011 census, the Hindus comprised 1.91 crore or 61.47% and Muslims 1.07 crore or 34.22%. The Chief Minister also highlighted that several districts in Assam are dominated by Muslims now, hinting at a surge of foreign illegals overpowering several districts in Assam. 2011 data shows that almost 9 districts in Assam have over 50% Muslim population and 3 Assam districts with over 30% Muslim population. Estimates suggest that there are over 20 million illegal Bangladeshi immigrants in Bharat. The foreign illegal influx has led to this change in the northeastern states, surpassing the local count. Now, on the 1st of July, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma stated how a section of people from a particular religion are actually indulging in criminal acts. He also stated that Bangladeshi minority community members who voted for Congress have been indulging in communalism. Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi, meanwhile, hitting out at the Assam Chief Minister, contending on Platform X that only 2 months ago he was seen dancing and singing in the minority-dominated areas of Assam. Clearly, it was not a matter of life and death when he wanted votes for the BJP. Now, this is the political fight, ladies and gentlemen, and it is, of course, stirred on its nest. But the larger question is, ladies and gentlemen, if the rate of population and if they look at the TFR ratio is 2.2%, and the indigenous population has not grown at a particular rate, how is it that only one particular section or one particular community has grown at this rate, such a rapid rate, especially when across the board, Bharatiya, anybody and everybody who's an Indian citizen, the data shows, there has been the rate of growth of population has actually come down. So if this is unnatural, clearly, is it being fueled by illegals? That's the question. And if it is being fueled by illegals, how and why has it been allowed all this while? And what does that actually imply or mean for us, especially in the northeastern states and in the border regions? Now, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow, IPCS, with us. Shahid Ali, Islamic scholar, with us. Nikul Patel, Leader of the Congress Party, with us. And Rajat Sethi, Political Analyst and former advisor to the Manipur Chief Minister, should be joining us any minute now. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, how would you respond?
Look, it's very straight. Assam has had a very traumatic history with partition. Nobody recognizes it or acknowledges it, but it did happen. I think people have forgotten what happened with the Sylhet referendum, where South Sylhet, which was a Hindu majority that voted to be with India, was given to Bangladesh, and Karimganj, which was a Muslim majority, then went to Assam. Now, even after that, what has happened is Meghalaya was separated, the Khasi and Garo tribes, because it was a Christian majority. And what has since happened is that out of the 14 million Muslims in the state, 10 million are Bengali Muslims. There you see it is used interchangeably with Bengali. I would point you out to the statement that Himanta Biswa Sarma made in 2022 that, there are just 4 indigenous communities who also happen to be Muslim: Ahom, Kachari, Moran, Motok. These are indigenous communities, he asked. Now, there is only one person he excluded in that definition, which was Bengali Muslims. Now, where are Bengali Muslims coming from? They're definitely not coming from West Bengal. They're only, if you look at the districts, you see there are 2 sets of districts. One is in West Assam and one is in East Assam. Dhubri, Gwalpada, Barpeta, Morigaon, Nagaon, Darang and Bonaigaon. Right. These are all in Western Assam. And you look at it, it is exactly contiguous to Bangladesh on the western, where, Assam has 2 borders with Bangladesh. One is in the west and one is in the southeast. And what happens is, these 7 districts that I named, they became, if you look at when they became Muslim majority, they sequentially became Muslim majority, not indigenous Muslim. Islam has a rich history in Assam of indigenous Muslims. Correct. He sequentially became a Bengali Muslim majority, and then Karimganj, which was always a Muslim majority, like I mentioned, it was swapped for Sylhet to make it contiguous. And Ahalia Kandi, the district next to it, was also then turned into a Muslim majority in the last 15 to 20 years, right? This has been the cause of severe internal strife. If you remember Ulfa, the Bodo movement, all of Correct. That rose precisely because of the ingress of Bangladeshi Muslims into India. And this has become a huge issue. Remember, even the CAA and RC were implemented because a certain Justice Gogoi, son of a Congress chief minister, ordered it to be implemented in his home state precisely for this reason. You see, it is not just the Assamese identity that is under the threat. It is also the Assamese Muslim identity that is under the threat. And if you what happened to Sylhet region, Bangladesh, purely because they were Now, you have had partition, but you still want to push people in here in order to create a new partition. How does this work? How many more districts is Assam going to continuously lose over and over and over again? And it is these exact districts that are a law and order problem, not because of the indigenous Assamese Muslim, but because of the Bangladeshi Muslim coming and settling down there. Now, if you bring up a map, Anand, of Assam, an international map of that entire area, you will see West Bengal isn't really contiguous to these districts. So they're clearly not coming from West Bengal. You go to Darjeeling, it is not a Muslim majority. Where are these Muslims coming from? You look at the local Muslim, the indigenous Muslim, that is the Ahom, Kachari, the Moran, Motok TFR rates. They are nowhere near the rates of people coming in from across the border. So there's clearly, this is, when you recognize that there is a linguistic and ethnic identity of Assam, you have to respect that. Every state has the right to respect and to demand respect for its own identity. That is being diluted, and he is very right in saying that it is a matter. There are several Assamese Muslims Correct. Who are extremely upset with Bengali Muslim, let's not call them Bengali Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims coming in.
True. Fair point that you make. Just looking at some of these numbers before I bring in Shahid Ali, Nikul Patel and also Rajat Sethi, who now joins us. My namastes to everybody. Dhubri, Assam districts with over 50% Muslim population. This is just basis the 2011 census. So this is about 15-year-old data. To all our viewers, just putting this there. If you can call this up on the screens. Now look at this. 79.67%. That is 9 Assam districts with over 50% Muslims. Dhubri has nearly 80% Muslims. Barpeta has nearly 71% Muslims. Darang has actually 64.34%. Hailakandi is 60.31% and Goalpara is 57.52%. Karimganj is 56.36%. Nagaon is 55.36%. Morigaon is 52.56% and Bongaigaon is 50.22%. Now this is data which is 50 to all our viewers also. It's nearly 15 years ago. 15-year ago data, that data was collated another 3 years before that. So somewhere around 2009, 2010, this is the data. Now there is more. 30% Muslims, 3 districts in Assam. Kamrup is 39.66. It was 40% nearly 16 years ago. Kachar was 37.71%, so nearly 38%. Nalbari was 36%, 35.96%, so nearly 36% about 15, 16 years ago. We don't have another census data and the numbers are going to be startling. And what's shocking, Shahid Ali, is the story and the case of these not being indigenous Muslim population. These are foreign illegals. These are Bangladeshis who have come and settled here. And that's where I think the concern is.
So Anand, I'm really shocked. Shocked not in the manner as we have been representing, but shocked from the statement, by the statement of a person who is holding the constitutional post. He has been threatening Muslims like this as Muslims from part of India, number one. Number two, I think he has been reminding we Muslims of India massacre of Nelly, wherein more than 2,000 Muslims, as per official records, were killed, were massacred. But unofficial record says that more than 7,000 people Muslims were killed on that day. So that was the biggest massacre of India. I think he has been reminding we people of India that he can do like that. That's why otherwise the words which he has used is the case of, this is a matter of death and life for him. So what is the meaning of him? He has been holding constitutional post. I am asking question. I am just putting it to before everyone. Whether a person who is holding constitutional post may make that kind of statement, which is not only hateful, but also incite majority people to take action against Muslims. So Muslims are a part of India. Even if this statement is presumed to be true, though the same is false, because after 2011, no census taking place. And in 1951, Muslims in Assam were 24%, not 11% as we have been claiming. And the data which was released earlier now, before a year only, they say that the Muslims population is being drastically declining in Assam. So from where he has been making this kind of a statement, not only insightful, not only this comes within the purview of hate speech, but my humble request is to Honorable Prime Minister of India as well as to judiciary to take action against this person. This person should be sent.
Let me ask
this person should be sent to mental asylum.
Okay, your point has been noted there, but let me ask you: do you draw a difference between an Indian and a Bangladeshi, or do you believe
Absolutely.
that you do? You do. So if there is,
Sir,
do you believe? I'm just asking you. Please hear me out.
Are there any record? Are there any record to say that these are the Bengali Muslims? These are the Bangladeshi Muslims?
Yeah, so they are Bangladeshi Muslims. There is a difference between.
Oh, that is why
Sir,
that is why there was a CAA. There was CAA.
No, there was no
and
CAA.
all people have submitted
There
their
is no CAA. No, please, let's not convolute. Let's not convolute matters and issues. There's a difference between why the Supreme Court mandated an NRC for Assam after 1971. If you talk about massacre, sir, from direct action day before that also and to after that Noakhali and thereafter so much more, there is so much more that has happened in Assam where the massacres and the numbers are being broad brushed. So I don't want to get into that. My simple point is, do you draw a difference between a native, that means a Bharatiya indigenous Assamese Muslim compared to a Bangladeshi illegal person who has encroached and started living there in Assam and perhaps somewhere over the years forged papers, etc., etc., but is not actually an Indian national. So I'm asking, my question is simple. Do you draw a difference? Do you draw a difference and a line there? Or does the nationality not matter? The fact that he's a Muslim matter, he or she is a Muslim matter.
My question to you with request, is there any data issued by Honorable Supreme Court or by any other agency that there are illegal migrants in immigrants in Assam that much, and that illegal immigrants have increased the population of...
Let me ask you, if these are people who for the last 3 or 4 decades have infiltrated into Bharat illegally and they have ensconced themselves here, what should be done? Will you be open? I'm asking you, will you be open for them to be identified and deported?
The government is doing that, sir. By virtue of NRC, what was being done?
No. Don't try and circumvent. I asked you a simple question. Will you be open? Should India be for Indians? Should Bharat be for Bharatiya?
Be responsible, sir.
I am asking you, should Bharat be for Bharatiya? Should Bharat be for proper...
No. It is a matter of unity and sovereignty of India.
No, it is not. It is a matter of unity and sovereignty of India. And do you want... I am asking you... I asked you a simple question. Don't try and circumvent my question, Shahid Ali. Rajat Shetty, now this man is a past master. Our guest here is a past master in not answering the question and trying to circumvent it. I asked a simple question. Do you or do you not support deportation of those who are illegal and who have illegally entered Bharat? Do you or do you not believe that they are a threat to native Bharatiya, irrespective of their caste, community and religion? He's not answered. The other thing is he's asking me where is the data. My point is that on the one side the argument is that the rate of growth of population is parallel or is the same for all communities across the country. It is less than 2% today. So how is it that the population of only one community and one group of people has increased exponentially? So what is the answer to that? That they have come in illegally from neighboring countries. And if they have come in from illegally from neighboring countries, be that from Myanmar, be that from Bangladesh, what should be done about them? Because they are disrupting the lives and times and people of the native people. Rajat Shetty.
See, Anand, that's the unfortunate socio-economic, political nightmare of the Assamese. And that includes the Khilonjia Muslims, that is the indigenous Muslims that you were talking about. Everybody indigenous in the state of Assam, and not just Assam, by the way. I'll digress here. Look at Dimapur, which is an important district of Assam. In Dimapur, if you walk around, it will seem like you're entering Bangladesh or Pakistan. I mean, there is just no semblance of any Naga culture left in that district. Go to Manipur. I mean, I can go district after district where there has been movement of not just the indigenous Muslims who came in 3-4 centuries back, but more recent migration of the Bangladeshi Muslims who went along the Barak River and ended up all the way not just in the Silchar area, but also went into Manipur and other places, and even migrated all the way into Myanmar also. So there is a problem. The hard reality is that a lot of these indigenous communities have become micro minorities in their own state, in their own land. The pressure over land and land ownership is increasing disproportionately, and people are not able to adjust to that lived reality. And the fear in the indigenous community is that we will end up in museums. Our TFRs are following, and this cuts across religions, even the Christians, Khilonjia Muslims, the Moran Mataks, the T tribes, all of these various tribal communities which are living in the state of Assam. Everybody is facing that existential threat. Now, unfortunately, there is no legal mechanism of identifying who are natural citizens of the country and who came in, walking along the dry lands of Brahmaputra River and entering into India and into the state of Assam. There is no way. Today, an indigenous person will find it hard to get the documentation to prove that they are the citizens of the country, whereas the Bangladeshi illegal migrants have done a pakka intizam. They have all the kind of paperwork that you can think of to prove their legitimacy as an Indian bona fide citizen. Now, this is the problem which Supreme Court said that, okay, do an NRC. It was a Supreme Court mandated NRC. There are these D voters, the doubtful voters, which were earmarked in voter list after voter list. To earmark them and not allow them, disenfranchise them, ensure that they do not go out and vote. All of these measures are not any political measure. These were done by the Supreme Court, monitored by the Supreme Court. And they did identify 10-15 lakh illegal migrants in the state. Unfortunate part is that I did not step in. Sir, please allow me to conclude my thoughts.
Illegal migrants are concerned.
Have decency, sir. The problem is that there is no way, and the frustration which is getting a political expression today from Himanta Biswa Sarma and even from Tarun Gogoi. Today, Gaurav Gogoi is coming and lecturing on the political situation, but it was his father who was a true patriot. He ensured that every single illegal migrant does not get paperwork by forgery. And he was fighting the Assamese fight. He was fighting as a true son of the soil. And Gaurav Gogoi and his political expediency pushes him into a different direction, which is his politics. He needs to live that politics. I don't care. But genuinely, every politician who has stake, who has skin in the game, is worried about what is going to happen to the remaining people who are truly indigenous and belong to that land.
No, but how can we as Bharatiya afford to look the other way? Now, Gaurav Gogoi may have said that Himanta Biswa Sarma went to these very areas when he was trying to woo them for votes. Why is he realizing now? Why is something not being done? Who's going to bell the cat, Nikul Patel? And is this a problem that we ourselves need to fight, or should we unite as Bharatiya and say, listen, this is Bharat is for Bharatiya? Or anyone and everybody who legally comes here. If somebody seeks asylum here, somebody comes here, notifies themselves to their presence in that particular area to the local district magistrate, and is willing to seek asylum and wait for that period of 5 to 7 years, whatever is mandated, depending upon whatever clauses apply to them, be it the CAA 2019 amendment or thereafter the normal Indian Citizenship Act of this one, however it is applies, those are different. But these are people who have sneaked in, made papers, and now they are demographically altering the bloody the DNA of this place.
Yeah, definitely. If you see, the matter is of very concern, because whenever any illegal immigrants come to our country and it is threatening the local indigenous people, is of concern to everyone as a Bharatiya. We have very good rules that anyone who illegal immigrant can be deported. Now, when it comes to Assam, the history dates back, and we have seen that immigrants are migrating from nearby countries. And if you see in 1975 or something, 80 Assami movement was brought into picture, and a big hesitation was happened. Even we have seen Assam Accord, something was filed, and see, now it has come to the present statement of the Chief Minister, and he's into the Chief Minister post, and the data what he's reflecting, I think he must correct himself, not for that thing, but I think 1901, the data census says it was 12.1% and not 1951. Okay. That is the first thing he should correct. I have seen the census data. So it is 1901 and not 1951. Okay. Now, sitting on to the post of Chief Minister, if he states us thing, and since last 3-4 years he is the Chief Minister, or his government is the Chief Minister, and they are bringing into some rules, they must build some mechanism, and it's a responsibility. Whatever government it is, it's their responsibility to protect the right of the citizen of the country, and if they are not able to do it, then retrospectively it will be affecting the people of that particular place. But it's our collective responsibility. We as a Congress are not criticizing anything, but when it comes to power, it has to be responsibility of the government to look into it, the issues of the local people over there. Rather criticizing only on just giving the worry that I am worried about demographic changes, but he has to act basically. His responsibility is to act against it.
But let me ask you this: if I agree with you that his responsibility is not to talk but to act. What has he done over the last 1.5 terms of the BJP government there? That's a fair question to ask. Will the opposition back it, or will they try and disrupt this entire effort? Abhijit Iyer Mitra, your thoughts. Why is Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma not acting? Why is he not putting into place an action plan which ensures that that immigrants are weeded out? They are either deported, they are highlighted, something's been done. You can continue to lament 1 district gone, 2 district gone, 3 district gone, 10 district gone. But what are you doing about it?
Well, the NRC was meant to be the solution, Anand. You remember that? And remember how everybody in Delhi came out and protested it. What did Shaheen Bagh have to do with Assam? Who in Shaheen Bagh was Assamese out there? What was the National Register of Citizens? It wasn't even it was a secondary, tertiary checking of documents to see what is your claim to be in Assam, etc., etc., etc. It was a Congress Chief Minister's son, who was Supreme Court Chief Justice at the time, who mandated that entire process to happen. When that happened, there were all these sasta Bollywoodias coming out and saying kagaz nahi dikhayenge. When you ask for an enumeration of citizens, it becomes kagaz nahi dikhayenge. Then what is the point of asking ki kya karoge after that? See, the point is, we are not talking about deporting them. Once they've come, we have very delicate relations with Bangladesh as well. We have to look after that. The point is to protect the Assamese nature of Assam. It can't become a Eastern East Bengal, right? So you have to do these things. The NRC was precisely that. The CAA was a different process. At that time, they were arguing CAA is a backbone to NRC, NRC is a backbone to CAA. But the basic enumeration of the Indian voter was such a huge problem for them, Anand. This is just like where America is going today, where any illegal immigrant can come.
Yeah, but
and
how
17 states doesn't even require an ID to...
But Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and to all our panelists, I'm just saying, let's try and rise above the politics for a second and understand we are 4% of the world's landmass and already 20% of the world's population. Unaccounted or unconfirmed reports suggest we have 40 million illegals in our country. That's nearly 4 crore illegals. 20 million Bangladeshis is an official estimate that has come across. 2 crores. Can we really afford to have such a... And this is also impacting not just Assam. We have CNN News 18 has gone on ground and seen what's happening along the borders in Nepal, what's happening along the in Bihar, along the borders, border regions in Bihar, what is happening in Jharkhand, and it is only, this influx is only growing. How is it so difficult? Is it so? We have to do something drastic, sir, and all Bharatiya have to come together for this. We cannot do Hindu-Muslim here because there is a difference. What the prefix is very important. A Bangladeshi vis-a-vis a Bharatiya. That is the important aspect. They do not embrace our culture. They are also sectarially different. They also follow a totally different sect and different way of life. And they will not amalgamate. They refuse to amalgamate. They refuse to embrace. They just live off this land, and they're saying, I'm here because I don't want to go back. I can't go back, and I'm going to survive here, and I'm going to turn this place as according to my will, whim and fancy. Now, how do I solve this issue? Abhijit Iyer Mitra and then Nikul Patel.
It is much more than just a simple land pressure issue, Anand. Remember, Rohingyas in Burma were also a kind of a dialect. It's not exactly Bengali, but they migrated from the Bengal region to that area. When that entire Rohingya crisis started off, what we saw was an extremely dangerous radicalization out there. There were people from Pakistan coming there and inciting those particular Rohingya communities. If you saw, there were 3 separate Rohingya Twitter handles that we were talking about. They would go attack the Burmese army and then claim victimhood and responsibility to protect. If you remember, Anand, in those days, responsibility to protect was a very big thing, where you could circumvent the UN Security Council and then do a regime change operation in any country that you wanted. This is what they were claiming out there, and they started off the entire Burma crisis precisely to enact some kind of a regime change. Of course, Burma isn't rich in anything right now, so the West's, Burma doesn't have that much oil. So the West's impulse to come out there wasn't much. What if this starts off here? We've seen severe disturbances in the past precisely because of this kind of thing. But nobody here wants to respect that. It is basically, when we try to enumerate, we will oppose the enumeration. Then they will ask, why didn't you enumerate? Then they'll go to the Assamese and say, vote for us because they couldn't enumerate. We will enumerate. And by that time, the entire game is lost. Yeah. It can't be that you go from 0 Muslim majority districts to 4 Muslim majority districts, then 9 Muslim majority districts, and then 11 Muslim majority districts. This does not happen with normal fertility rate growth.
Yeah, it is not an indigenous. The issue is not about the fact that it's becoming a Muslim majority district. Please let us all understand. The issue is that it's not organic, it's not indigenous. The TFR ratio is the same. So these are foreign nationals who are coming and changing the very DNA of that area, and that is dangerous to any Bharatiya. That's the thought process. Nikul Patel, how do we fix this?
Yeah, definitely it's a matter of concern because illegal immigrants come to our country and then they claim that they are the citizens and disturbing and harming the natural process of those who are the really citizens of the country. We can protect it definitely it is now the collective responsibility of the entire country, and especially the central government and the state government, as the international borders are with, I think, the central part, and the state within the statehood, whatever the policies that government wants to make can pass through the law, and then they can start redefining it. So this is the process. It is a Assamese movement is not new. It is since long. I think history backs from 70s, and that is what is happening. And really now it's a threat, because the chief minister himself is speaking from the floor that he is helpless and he cannot do anything, and it is a matter of life or death for him. So if a chief minister is speaking such statement, what will happen to a normal citizen? Now it's a matter of action and not to just repent.
Rajat Sethi.
See, this is what I mean saying, that people need to go do the research effectively. There have been policies after policies which have been enacted to reduce the impact of illegal migrants when you directly cannot deport them. There have been policy passed by the cabinet of the Assam government saying that if you have greater than 2 kids, you will not have access to any government job. Similarly, there are a lot of other benefits of passed on by taxpayer money will not end up into those houses who do not adhere to strict family planning related clauses. These are direct.
No, but here it's not about family planning. It's about them coming in large numbers and resettling themselves there.
It is about family planning too, because the TFRs are divergent. The problem is that the indigenous, and this is what I highlighted, the true political problem there is that the indigenous people have this fear that they would be overrun by the population divergence between the two communities. And this is where this policy was brought in, which was considered even by the Congress party. They said that yes, this is a progressive policy. Then secondly, that came about was reservation, giving scheduled tribe and also scheduled 6 based reservations to certain communities within the Assamese government, which are under maximum threat of demographic erosion. And those also, the what Abhijit was actually mentioning, the Moran Mataks, etc., they have been, proposals have been framed and sent to the central government to bring them under the Schedule 6 protection. These are the constitutional mandated protection to protect our ultra minorities.
No, sir.
That's the process the government has undertaken.
Primarily,
but we need research to understand that.
Primarily, what needs to be done as far the state and also the center, especially in these regions, is concerned to make influx or illegals walking into our territory, make it a huge detriment. We can't do
certainly.
The detriment has to be at multiple levels. The detriment has to happen that there should be no patronage. To make these kagas and to make these farji documents should not be easy. We have to have a certain level of biometric and certain level of accountability and number of this one. And the moment the district magistrates have to be empowered, the moment there is a disproportionate growth that is happening in their area, they need to flag it off, and some hard action has to be taken, because we need to.
Absolutely, Anand. This is a great point. But the border forces, the BSF, the Assam Rifles, they have to ensure that when people are crossing, there are penal provisions. Right now, Manipur is reeling. The principal cause of that reeling is because the migrants, the Chin migrant who are coming in and changing the population and demography of the state of Manipur. And who is facilitating that and allowing that? There are Aadhaar shops littered across the border.
Correct. So if that has not, so I've got to wind up on that note. No, so then this is an internal simple point. This is an internal security matter between the state and the center. This has to be addressed irrespective of who's at the helm, politically or otherwise, because this matters to Bharatiya. The other thing is, ladies and gentlemen, these 40 million people are living off our land as parasites, and they are also eating over. They are also taking away jobs, opportunity, livelihood, space that belong to Bharatiya. And that's been taken off by somebody else. Now, this is something, a realization that everybody needs to have. And of course, there is a larger civilizational challenge, because there are those who are pushing this entire motive of a greater Bangladesh. Now, if that is also if that plan is being put into action, then that's a real civilizational threat to us as Bharatiya. You may show a thumbs down, Shahid Ali, but then stand up as a Bharatiya against those who are getting into this country illegally and trying to do that.
It's not done.
Yeah, fantastic. It should not be done.
You have taken statements of everybody for 2 times, but not mine. So you are afraid of.
No, sir.
I will expose your propaganda.
No, sir. There is no propaganda. I am hoping that you are able to listen to some wisdom, and also then you are able to wake up to the reality around the ground. that Bharatiya are under threat. And don't make it about Muslims, sir. Make it about Bharatiya and Bangladeshi, Bharatiya and non-Bharatiya. That's what is important. That is what is important. That is what is important, Shahid Ali, that you make it about Bharatiya and non-Bharatiya, not about a particular religion, sir. And if these people are coming with a devious intent to live off our land and are coming in illegally, you should be the first person to stand up there and say, no, these are not people who are desirable in our country. Thank you.
But you are not out of the Supreme Court. You are not out of the law.
Raise the concern at the level.
NRC was conducted.
At a level.
What is the report of NRC? Please go through that.
No. Sir, the reality is.
And please condemn the statement
reality is, if we have a challenge that there is a demographic altering that is happening and that is not organic, that is not indigenous, then we have a challenge, sir. All of us have a challenge. All of us have a challenge, Chief Minister or otherwise, Shahid Ali or otherwise. That's the reality. I have to wind up on that note. Thank you very, very much to all our panelists. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we shift the focus to Karnataka, where the Karnataka government's jobs quota bill move has invited some serious backlash. Stay with us. Who's subverting Samvidhan now?
Haley is former South Carolina governor. She has served as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations during Trump's administration. Trump has reportedly said Haley will, quote, be on our team in some form, absolutely, unquote. Reporting for CNN News 18, I'm Alistair D'Souza in Washington, D.C. So it's late evening here in the US, and day 2 of the Republican convention is winding down after 2 highly anticipated speeches. Now, both are arguably from the Republican Party's most prominent Indian Americans. First up, we had Vivek Ramaswamy, who kicked things off with a joke about his very Desi name.
I'm proud to say that I achieved the impossible, which is that most of you actually know how to say my name by now. So thank you for that. But on the content of your character and your contributions. The rule of law. And I say this as the kid of...
Back on with news just coming in from Karnataka, where the reservation for Kannadigas in jobs in Karnataka, this entire decision has been now put on hold. The Karnataka government has decided to put the decision on hold after some severe backlash, not just from political parties, experts, and but also from India Incorporated. Harish Upadhyay now joins us with more. Yes, Harish.
Anand, after severe backlash from the industry bodies and with states like Andhra Pradesh aggressively trying to woo investors, seeing this as an opportunity, the state government has decided to put this entire draft on hold. And in the coming few weeks, you will see the state having once again a consultation process with all the stakeholders and bring in a bill much later, not definitely in the ongoing assembly session, because several within the government were uneasy with this entire draft, including departments like the industries, IT and BT. We've seen ministers like MB Patil and Priyank Kharge from morning trying to assure the industry that this wouldn't hamper their operation in Karnataka or their recruitment. And the Labour Ministry was trying to defend this decision. But finally, the Chief Minister has decided that it's best to go for consultation again, put this decision on hold, speak to everybody, whether it's various language groups here, Kannada Rakshana Vedike and others, the industry bodies, and several labour groups in Karnataka, and then revise the entire draft.
One of the other aspects is that the courts would have not taken kindly, because another move like this by the state of Haryana has not worked with the courts. So why was the Karnataka government insistent on pushing this through? Why were there not broader consultations before the intent to table this bill?
Well, you had at least a defense from the state government coming in that some of these aspects would be advisory in nature. The state wouldn't go after companies who failed to act it, but the industry body wasn't comfortable with the fact that this was being mentioned in the draft, and nowhere was it mentioned that it would be advisory in nature. In fact, the legal advisor to the Chief Minister was very guarded this morning when asked about this. He said, I have to go through the law. He also did mention that when it comes to companies and their rights to operate, it is much stronger than what it would be for government organizations, and that's the reason they will have to go through the bill once again. But finally, better sense prevailing in the government, and the Chief Minister now deciding to put this decision on hold.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Harish. Let's go across to Bhaskar Rao, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Sanket Yenagi, advocate and leans towards the Congress party, Sampath Ramaran, who's a former FKCCI president, and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow, the IPCS. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Mr. Sampath Raman, my first question to you, how would you respond to this decision where the government has now decided to put this bill on hold?
It's a welcome decision to put it on hold. It's very impractical. You see, I'll be telling you something which will shock you, that I run a very medium type of industry, manufacturing, diesel generating sites, agricultural equipment, industrial equipment and all. We employ about 50 to 100 people depending on the workload. Now, I don't get employees at all. Now, I don't interview the people with questions like, what is your caste, which state you belong to, which is your religion, and all those things. Anybody walking in, I am willing to take if he has got the skill. With the question of saying that, people are not employing Kannadigas, so I am bringing a law to make it enforceable. It's something uncalled for. See, today, the youth, they are not willing to work in industry. That is the condition. We are willing to train them. We are willing to put the entire money for training. But they say, sir, I'll sit at the table, I'll do e-marketing, I'll do the thing on Facebook and other, e-mode of doing business. And then I will get the inquiries and follow up on the table. They don't want to come to the factory and work. In such a situation, if a law is brought saying that you must employ Kannadigas alone, it is going to be disastrous. This is my personal opinion.
So you're saying it's not that you're unwilling to hire Kannadigas, it's just that you're not able to find skilled Kannadigas or people who are willing to put in hard yards. They want to look at an alternative form and not get into the shop floor and manufacturing.
Absolutely.
So what's the solution for this? Will a bill like this solve it, or something else will solve it?
Exactly, you have asked the right question. In fact, there is one department called CADAM or something, where they have sought our advice. I am also an advisor in Assam, Regional Council, where I am in the panel of that advisory board on how to skill the people. This is the primary objective of a study undertaken by the Department of Government of Karnataka. I told, several people gave several answers to the question. I told them, first of all, we must invite leading community people to tell them that they should ask their children to study other branches of engineering than IT-BT. Everybody wants to go to IT. No other job they want. They want to sit at the table and easily get the money. Now we must educate our parents first to tell them that engineering is the basis of any business or development. Therefore, their children should learn engineering. In fact, Karnataka was the civil engineering pioneer in the country, the electrical engineering pioneer, the automobile engineering pioneer. Now, all those are gone. All the seats in the colleges are vacant. You will be surprised to know. So first we must train the parents, and then we must give some kind of brainwash to the youth that they must get into industry. That alone first will solve the problem. Just saying that, telling the industry you must employ, otherwise I will do this, I will do that. Penalty of 10,000 rupees to 25,000 rupees, and it can go up to 1 lakh. This is all, in my opinion, sort of atrocious.
Well, Sanket Yanagi, how would you respond? Should the focus have been on skilling, like Mr. Sampath Raman is saying? Should the focus have been on trying to encourage more youth, more people in Karnataka to take to the kind of jobs that are required or that are being serviced by people from outside Karnataka? Or is the route this kind of a bill?
First of all, let us analyze the situation from the previous year's manifesto. The Congress has made it a part of its manifesto. People have voted the Congress. Congress said it will reserve the employment for the Kannadigas. And now it is committing to the people, and it has committed the people, and it is implementing it. Its pros and cons which are being discussed are other part of it. But one thing, Karnataka has maximum number of engineering and polytechnic colleges. Karnataka people, and there are land losers in Karnataka who have lost land for the industries in Karnataka. Karnataka people are contributing more to the industries in various other aspects too. So it is quite obvious for the Kannadigas to expect that they should get the preference. In every state it is quite so. But this is one aspect of saying that Kannadigas should only get preference and not others. May not be justifiable or reasonable, but they should get the first preference. In case there is no opportunity for Kannadigas, then it may not be doing justice, especially for the government which is being voted for Kannadigas. So they look at that parameters. But keeping that aside for a moment, if you look at the state government which has to follow Raj Dharma for all, Raj Dharma means not distinguish whether it's Kannadiga or others. That is the other aspect of it. But more preference and preferential treatment would be for the Kannadigas who have voted for them. It is for any political party, whether it's Kannadigas voting for BJP or for a Congress, that does not make any difference.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, what matters to the people is that what assurance the government has given, has it been implemented toward them again? If it has been done so, that matters.
Right.
But the question of legality is another aspect which will be dealt by the courts, which we will not be discussing here. Whether it is constitutionally valid, whether it is discriminatory, whether it is taking away someone's employment. These are other aspects which we will not be discussing here.
Because is it a direct infringement on the right to life? That's one simple, and right to earning, right to livelihood. So these are two aspects which come into place, because you may say that if somebody is equally skilled, if there are three people who are equally skilled and one of them is Kannadiga, you should give a preference if the company is based in Karnataka. But if you say that 70% reservation is mandated for a Kannadiga, then is that not a serious compromise of merit and also the ability of somebody else to deliver better? And also the employer, because it's an infringement upon their right to life and livelihood also. I'm just putting in this dynamic. Mr. Sampath Raman wanted to say something, and then I'll come back to you, Sanketji. Bhaskarji and Abhijit Mitra coming to you after that.
See, state sentiments.
Exactly. In fact, the industries do not say that they don't want local people at all. They are too willing to take them. And then, in fact, I am a Kannadiga, I am too willing to take a Kannadiga. But the Kannadiga doesn't want to come to me. What do I do? State may have given it in the manifesto, but if it is impractical, they have to withdraw that. Simple. So
Right.
it is not only unconstitutional, in Haryana it has been struck by High Court.
And Andhra Pradesh also.
In AP it will happen soon. Only 2 states have done that.
Correct.
The same thing will happen in
See,
Karnataka.
no,
The court will strike it down.
Correct. Now you one can
Impracticality is what you should look at.
exactly what is a practical solution to a commitment that has been made. Now reservation and we'll give jobs to Kannadigas can be a poll promise, but how do I effect that? Have I actually worked towards making those people skillful enough to be competitive? Because then you don't have to reserve jobs only in Karnataka. They can work anywhere in the country. They can go anywhere in the country because they will be wanted. Any skillful labor, any workforce which has got the ability to deliver will always be in demand. That's the humble submission. Yes, Mr. Bhaskar Rao, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and then we'll circle back to you, Sanket ji. Yeah.
The state sentiments and jobs are an extremely sensitive issue, and it is a very hot nerve to be tinkered around with. As Bharatiya Janata Party, we have the highest regard for our Kannada Asmita, our land, language, culture, people, river and forests. But to bring in a law like this and make an overnight change in employment is not something which the present political party is aiming to do. They have a different agenda of hiding their own scams and corruption, etc., to see that the attention is diverted. And as our learned industrialist Mr. Sampath Raman has pointed out, you have to create an environment. You cannot bulldoze and try to say that this is the way to do it and we have a quick fix solution for employment.
Right.
Invest more on skill development, invest more on entrepreneurship training, give more amount of support, encouragement, etc. So people, the best entrepreneurs are going to pick up the best people. And for your information, Kannadigas are well employed over there. It is not that Kannadigas are what you say begging for jobs over there. Whoever and is well qualified, we have many universities here and they are getting jobs. No doubt Bangalore is a huge employment capital which draws people from all over the country. I have been the commissioner of police of this city over there. I have seen that every state of India is present here and people from 75 countries are also present here. So the need of the hour is not to hurry through some legislation and push the job creators and harass them, humiliate them. It's going to become another Inspector Raj, like Sampath ji was saying that they are going to have fines of 10,000, 25,000. That is not how it works over there. Over a period, Karnataka has been built to be an industrial destination, a destination where jobs are created, where excellence is being created. And a law like this is not going to be successful. It's going to be struck down with the constitution. It did not work in Haryana. It did not work in Andhra Pradesh. In fact, yes, regional sentiments are important. Everybody feels insecure about their own place having been taken over there. It is not just in Bangalore. People in Mumbai, once upon a time, the Shiv Sena was threatening Kannadigas. My father-in-law and my wife, they all work there, they stayed there. They're all being driven out from there. So this is going to be only an attention diversion tactics of the present government. It's a promise which can never be delivered. And every city has to grow, every country has to grow. And these same sentiments are there in the US, London and other international cities over here. You can't bulldoze entrepreneurs to hire people. Whosoever you are hiring,
right.
If you are paying money in their enterprise, then only you have a right to interfere in their employment policy over there. If it is a state-sponsored organization, they need to do it.
Right, but
so
the larger concern is each state should actually skill its workforce in a way that there is a demand for that workforce and create opportunities. Reservation, is that the solution, or creating meritorious or a skillful workforce and creating an environment for that?
Solution. You have to have a long-term solution of investing on soft skills, hard skills.
Sir, and that applies across political parties and across state governments, irrespective of whether it is Congress, BJP or any other political party. Yes.
But this law is not good in intention, it's bad in intention.
Abhijit Iyer Mitra, for the Congress party, they've come out and said very quickly, I'm just saying, they've come out and said, listen, we made a promise, we tried to implement it, it got blocked. Sorry, we'll try and wait and we'll try and do it some other time. That,
They should have
so
consulted
that's
people
one
like
box
Sampath
perhaps
Raman and
ticked
other
politically for them, but I'm saying larger case for me, larger concern for me is Bharat, and if we are going to be a Viksit Bharat, we need to have a skilled workforce. We need to have a 30-40 crore skilled workforce because we are going to be the bank for the entire world, not just for individual states. Yes, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Is anybody thinking on that matter, on that metric? Is a larger question. Yes, Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
I don't think they are, Anand. So, the first thing is, this is such a brain dead law. I think the Congress actually calculated for it to be this vacuous so that it would get struck down in that sense. But let us just appreciate the kind of difficulty our industrialists have to endure. First, they don't get any subsidies. Any subsidy to an industry is a dirty word. Only farmers get subsidies. On top of that, the state passes on its burden, its social burden, onto every industry around. Corporate social responsibility. Why? Because the state can't do it, therefore industrialists should do it. Right? They get absolutely, in China, all the industries get rebates on, they get lead-in periods for effluent management, etc., etc. Nobody gets that out here. No industry gets that out here. Now, this is, this is sort of legislation from the supply side. Imagine what if states started legislating the demand side and saying Narayana Murthy and Sudha Murthy's Infosys can't invest in any particular state or employ from or run any or get only this much business from, say, Bihar, proportionate to the number of Biharis they employ. Imagine what if that kind of legislation was also done on top of this. You see, this is building down, this is scraping the bottom of the barrel. It is a very stark sign of governmental failure, where governments have to pass on whose obligation is it to create jobs. Industrialists are already creating jobs. Like Mr. Sampath Raman said, do you think sitting in Bangalore, one is going to publish a advertisement in Anand Bazar Patrika or Jammu Kashmir national newspaper to get people to do basic factory floor jobs sitting in Bangalore? Obviously, it's going to be advertised in Bangalore. People there locally are going to apply for it. But you know what Mr. Sampath Raman said is so true. I have so many industrialist friends sitting in Bangalore who have a huge paucity of people willing to come and work out there. The other issue that he raised, which was very important, was dignity of labor. Nobody wants to work in a factory.
Correct.
They all want these quasi white-collar jobs.
Not just that. I think there are people who want to work in a factory if there is a guaranteed income, and plus if they are skilled enough, they will be employed also. See, you have to create an atmosphere of employability at every level. And that's how you push yourself and you improve the workforce of the country. I'm just saying we are intelligent people on the panel, and I think this is food for thought. How are we collectively going to improve the quality of our workforce overall? If we actually want to be a manufacturing hub, irrespective of whether it is Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Bihar, anywhere, unless we have a skilled workforce and a quality workforce at all levels, we are going to have an issue. We are going to have a serious issue. Reservation is not the solution. That's where I'm going to park it for now. Thank you very much to all our panelists. Chief Minister Siddaramaia's post, where he has also said that the bill approved by Cabinet to provide reservation for Kannadigas in private sector organizations has been temporarily put on hold. This will be revisited and decided in the coming days. Brass Tacks with Zaka Jacob up next. Stay with us.
Introduce.
Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this: you're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this: we will return you to your country of origin because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law.
For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump. I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. There are some Americans who don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time. I happen to know some of them. And I want to speak to them tonight.
CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. My name is Zaka Jacob. There is huge backlash to a proposed quota for locals in private jobs. Now the Karnataka government, heeding to that backlash, has decided to put this controversial bill on hold. They've now decided to go for wider consultations, perhaps consult with industry and other bodies, which again was another problem with this proposed bill. But it led to huge uproar, particularly from the IT industry, saying that this would only lead to investment going away from Karnataka. Already in neighboring Andhra Pradesh, for example, Nara Lokesh has tweeted out, tagging NASSCOM, the industry body, the IT industry body,